Hey yo, what's going on guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video. And today, well, we got what if Goku was sent to Namek instead of Earth. And I got this idea because multiple what if YouTubers who do what if Goku or DBZ what ifs have done, well, other stuff. I'm not sure if they've done this before, but I like the idea of what if Goku was sent to Namek instead of Earth, and this would be the biggest change of, well, the Dragon Ball Z universe, because without Goku on Earth, King Piccolo would rule, and basically Earth would be in, well, danger. So I want to see how this pans out for, well, the rest of the story. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's get started. So, as Bardock prepares to send Kakarot off to its original destination, he decides to change the course at the last minute. The reason, well, change the course to the last minute to Namek, knowing that the Namekians are somewhat strong. The reason why Bardock decided to change the course was because Bardock started doubting his plans. When he started planning this, he started doubting them when he was already a few days in. And another big reason was he thought, what if Goku wasn't strong enough? Or what if Frieza decides to go to that weak planet to destroy it? And all these doubts were the reason he did what he did. So Goku was launched to Namek. His parents told him to survive, and that's the last thing his parents said to him. It did take a few months to reach Namek, but finally, Goku finally arrived at Namek, and the space pod landed at a Namekian village, not at the center, but just at the outskirts. The Namekian warriors of that village were all in high alert and went out to the space pod. And as the space pod opened, they see a Saiyan child asleep, looking very malnourished. And the people, or not the people, but the Namekian warrior was about to blast this child into oblivion when the leader of the Namekian warriors told him to stop, saying, "It's just a Saiyan child. He won't be able to defeat us. We are high-class warriors." But this child, he was sent away from his planet. He looks malnourished. And we should maybe help him, another Namekian said. And the Namekians began arguing, saying, if this child was sent to destroy our planet, we should destroy him now, or else he'll become dangerous in the future. But the leader of, well, the warriors said to the others, do not be afraid, because do not be afraid. Do you doubt your skills? You're strong enough to take this child down with one attack. Just don't doubt yourself. Let us raise this child and raise him in a Namekian village, in our Namekian village, so we can raise this child right and show him the ropes here in Namek. And they all begrudgingly accepted this. Well, some of them did, but some of them still were very, very cautious. So as Goku has finally awoken, he starts eating the Namekian food they have, even if it tastes weird. Not really disgusting, but just weird because he's never tasted this food before. But he's gotten used to it over the past week. And Goku has been training on Namek, and the big change here is that Goku's actually fighting stronger fighters. And that Goku has been training there for about a week or so. And just a week of training would put him above his canon counterpart by miles. he's about the same strong as Raditz when he arrived in the Saiyan Saga, basically. Same strong as Raditz at the Saiyan Saga. And you're probably wondering, how is Goku that strong? Well, if you think about it, for a whole week and his Saiyan potential, and the strong fighters he has around him, teaching him multiple techniques and multiple stuff at different times, even at different times, Goku's still getting Zenkais and a larger boost because these warriors can knock him down with ease, and all the injuries he's getting gives him extra Zenkais. So it wouldn't be too shocking to see that he's already at the same level as Raditz in the Saiyan Saga. So Goku continues his training, and he finally surpasses all the warriors of his his village. And the gi you see he's wearing right now in the thumbnail is what he has. Because if Piccolo can change the outfit, I reckon, well, the other Namekians can too. And they did. And Goku says he doesn't really like the Saiyan outfit he has. But, I should really start off with some light stuff first, because as Goku was getting raised by these people earlier on, before he started training, they taught him manners and appropriate ways of, well, just being nice and polite. And Goku, well, Kakarot, I should say, since he wasn't named Goku, Kakarot basically still has his memories. So Kakarot still has the same personality, but is a little nicer because of the way that the nice Namekians, well, were teaching him. The Namekians taught him lots of stuff, and Goku is more knowledgeable than ever. And as I said before, he surpassed the strongest in his tribe. Well, not his tribe, but the village. And he was told to go visit another village, and he did. He began training there, and he's become exponentially stronger there too. And he's about, at this rate, since he just finished becoming the strongest in his last village, the strongest person there would be at about the power level of 5,500. And now Goku is at the power level of 7,200. Now that he's training in another village, where there's a little bit of the same kind of strength in this last village, the leader of the warriors there was actually at the power level of, I'd say, a power level of 8,000, about 8,000, and Goku's been training with all of them, and, well, they basically helped him improve his fighting techniques. Since Goku isn't really a martial artist this time, since he doesn't know about Master Roshi and all the other Earthlings, he isn't as much of knowledgeable in combat as he would be, but he's still fighting with the warrior Namekians, so that kind of evens it out. So yeah, as I was saying, Goku is much stronger, and at this time, it was the World Tournament, the first World Tournament, and this is when, well, King Piccolo hasn't invaded yet. This is just the first World Tournament. And, since Goku wasn't there, Krillin fought a random character, and yeah. So, not Master Roshi, but Jackie Chan still beat, Krillin at the finals, so yeah, Jackie Chan wins. All of that goes exactly to canon, except without Goku. So yeah. So as I was saying, Goku kept training with multiple villages until he surpassed their strength. Goku's power level at base is at 10,000 at this point. His max power level would be about 35,000 if I'm thinking logically here. 35,000 would be his max power level. Now, I'm not giving him much of a big boost, but in reality, it really is a big boost. But right now, Goku's at his teenage years at about age 15, 15, about age 15, since he's training. His training took much longer than expected because some of the techniques he's learned are harder to learn for a Saiyan. And the Namekians are opening up to Kakarot more. So they aren't disliking him as much as they used to. Now that Goku has actually defeated, well, all the Namekians in every single village, he was sent to the Elder Namekian's place. And that's when he saw a Namekian, a massive old Namekian, an old Namekian sitting on a chair or a massive throne. And yeah, he isn't as old as he would be. No, he is a little younger because this isn't right at the Namekian saga or the Namekian arc, or whatever the arc was called. Apologies if I don't get it right. But he isn't at that age yet, so he's still gonna stay alive. And the Nail comes and greets Goku, saying, I've seen your strengths, Kakarot. And it's incredible, and I'll be your next training partner. And Goku says to Nail, well, are you strong enough? Well, are you strong enough to take me on? And Nail looks at Goku saying, let's test that theory then. So they went outside and began sparring, and Goku was surprised to see that Nail was, well, keeping up with him, even though he's suppressed, heavily suppressed. So Goku begins ramping up his power. He's still at base, ramping it up to his max at base. And Nail, well, is still keeping up with him fairly well. And Nail tells Goku to go all out. And Goku looks at Nail saying, well, hopefully you don't regret it, as he powers up to his max power. The power level of 35,000, and Nail also powers up. And since Nail, well, he knows he couldn't keep up with Goku, since his power level was a bit, above 10,000 when he fought Frieza. This time, his potential was awakened by the Elder Namekian, because he knows that Kakarot was coming over to train. So now, I'm just gonna say he got a 5 times increase, which means Nail's power level, it would be about 50,000 at this point. 50,000, and he was overpowering Kakarot. And Kakarot, using all the moves he learned, still couldn't beat Nail. And, Nail looked at, well, Kakarot saying, well, you're strong, but not strong enough, so I'll be your new training partner. And Kakarot smiled happily, saying, yes, strong training partner. Let's do this, as he starts training for a few years. And King Piccolo, it's about time that King Piccolo arrived. And he was released, and he wished for his youth, and he basically ruled over Earth. And there's no one stopping him. All the Z fighters who were there previously are now gone. The Dragon Balls, or Shenlong, was seemingly destroyed. Kami was sealed with a Mafuba, and King Piccolo and his demons are roaming around. And no one could stop them. Most of Earth's population had decreased significantly. So yeah. But Goku was still there, but he isn't gonna go to Earth anytime soon at this rate, because he doesn't know about it. And so does the other Namekians. They don't know about Earth's existence. But yeah, we move from that, and Goku continues training with Nail, and his power level soars incredibly, surpassing even Nail's. But Nail's was still rising too. But still, Goku got many Zenkais from the beatdowns he's got. So Goku's power level would probably be at his power level would skyrocket, since his max power was, well, 35,000. it's basically times 10. It's times by 10 because of the multiple. Well, he's trained for like 1.5 years, so his power level increased to 350,000 at his max. And Goku, well, still trains with Nail, and Nail's power level increased too. And it isn't the same strong as Goku now because Nail didn't slack on his training because he was training Goku most of the time. It's just that he doesn't have the same sane physiology as, well, Goku. He doesn't really get Zenkais, so that's the reason why he's not as strong as Goku. But he isn't far behind. He's at the power level of 270,000 at max. That's a big increase for Nail. And Goku still trains with Nail, and they still grow stronger together. And, until, well, Raditz seemingly arrives, but not on Namek, on Earth, because he still doesn't know that Bardock had a last-minute change, because he wasn't on the planet Vegeta at the time. So he heads to Earth, seeing the destruction, thinking that Kakarot did a good job, but then realizes that there are multiple weak power levels surrounding him, and they were just the Piccolo's demons, and he just demolishes them with one blast, thinking to himself, what are these weird creatures? As he demolishes them one by one, and he finally reaches King Piccolo, sitting at his throne, and King Piccolo looks at him and says, who are you to challenge me, the ruler of this planet? And, well, Raditz looks at him saying, well, you aren't the ruler anymore, as he makes, a key ball energy in his hand, saying, double Sunday, and blasts, well, King Piccolo out of existence. And he still looks for Kakarot, but he can't find Kakarot. And he thought, well, maybe Kakarot died. And he didn't really think much of this. And, he basically left. And basically, Earth is now completely gone. There's no Gohan gonna be born, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. But, well, it's not gonna do much anyway. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be too much of a big difference. Only the strong Earthlings survived, like Yamcha. He managed to hide away, and Tien, and all the other Z fighters that remain. Bulma managed to stay alive. Also, Chi-Chi did. They managed to survive, but maybe Gohan could still possibly be born. But that only depends if Goku heads back to Earth. But we move from that, and Goku spends another basically like 6 months training with Nail again, and his power skyrockets a little more to about 400,000. His power level increased by 50,000. Not too much of a big increase, but 400,000 at his max. And that's basically that. And Nail also skyrockets his power to about 320,000. Not too far behind, but still pretty big gap. And Nail asks, well, the Elder Namekian to unleash Goku's potential. And the Elder, well, places his hand on Goku's head, and he awakens his potential. And there was a massive skyrocketed energy. And Frieza's scouter actually managed to pick up on this, since no, they actually wouldn't be able to pick up on it. But Vegeta, well, Raditz and Vegeta went to a pretty close planet, not too close to Namek, but just 1,000 kilometers away from Namek. It's like they can still see Namek. It's still pretty big up close, but they're looking at a different planet. They're heading to a different planet until their scouter sends a massive power level, and this power level is in the 7 digits or the 6 digits, and their scouter blows up, and Raditz and Vegeta and Nappa were blown away, thinking that power level was no ordinary power, and they know it's from Namek. So they change their course and head to Namek. Because, well, why would they stay at Earth? Because they know that it's, well, not hospitable anymore, and they're too busy trying to find Kakarot. So yeah, they finally land, and they landed at a Namekian village, Kakarot's Namekian village. And as Goku finally finishes up his potential getting unleashed, his power level at his max. I'm gonna make it a little more reasonable. It's 9.5 million. At his max, 9.5 million. His base power level would be at about well, 750,000 at his base. And him and Nail blast off and go to the Namekian village. And they make it there not too long after Vegeta, well, beats down on the leader Namekian warrior. And the others are a little bit fearful. But when they see Kakarot, they all begin shouting, "Kakarot's here! Kakarot will stop them!" And Kakarot landed with Nail, and Kakarot looked at Raditz, having flashbacks, well, of his parents saying that Raditz is alive. Also their last words, but it's very faint. And Kakarot looks at Raditz saying, "Raditz?" And Raditz looks at Kakarot saying, "Kakarot, what have you been doing on this planet? Weren't you meant to be sent on that weakling planet Earth?" And Kakarot looks at Raditz saying, as Kakarot takes his fighting stance, and Raditz looks at Kakarot saying, "You won't be much of a challenge. Maybe one of these Namekians were in the 6 digits. But that must have been a fluke. Maybe the scatter was broken." And Raditz lunges towards Kakarot. So apologies for all the stuttering, but lunges towards Kakarot, trying to throw a punch at him. But Kakarot, taking his position, well, he blasts towards, Raditz, and Raditz wasn't expecting such speed. And Kakarot gut punches him, and then teleports behind him, and gives him does a chokehold, and flies into the sky, spiraling up into the sky, and basically spinning around and around into the sky. It's basically like a seismic toss, but he pile drives Raditz's head straight into the ground, and Raditz was seemingly knocked out from this attack, and Nappa decides to power up, and his power level was at about 5,000 at max, and he began trying to punch Goku, or Kakarot, my apologies, but Kakarot kept dodging every attack that Nappa made, and Nappa even tried to send in a big ki blast straight at the village, but Kakarot swiped that away and sent it straight back to Nappa, and Nappa was blown back, and Nappa was gravely injured, and he couldn't fight anymore. And Vegeta decided to get into the fight and starts fighting Kakarot, but he was outclassed severely, and he was beginning to say in his mind, "What the hell? Kakarot got so strong. That's impossible. Even if he went to this planet, there's no one who's able to give him this much strength." And as Vegeta gets kneed straight in the gut, and then finally kneed straight in the face, getting blown into a mountain, and then Kakarot brings his hand back, and brings both hands backwards, and kind of does a similar thing, looking like a final flash, but the aura isn't yellow, it's a blue color, and he says, "Atomic Wave." I'm just gonna make up a random move. It's gonna be called Atomic Wave. It's basically a stronger version of the Final Flash. Okay, don't judge me. I don't even know why I named it that. it just came off the top, so yeah, I'm just gonna call it Atomic Wave. And if you guys have any better names, comment it down below. But he releases an Atomic Wave straight at, well, Vegeta, and he was knocked back. And, he was knocked straight into the sky because Goku kicked him into the sky before he used the Atomic Wave. And, the Atomic Wave basically sent Vegeta into orbit, basically. And Vegeta couldn't do anything about it. And looks like Vegeta was accepting his fate, but then he realized, what is he doing? He's the Prince of all Saiyans. Letting a low-class warrior defeat him would be a disgrace. As he looks at the moon, since he's almost out of orbit, basically almost out of Namek with that blast, he looks at the moon, and he begins to have animalistic features, and he enlarges, and basically turns into the Great Ape, falling back down, and basically kind of super bomby into, well, the Namekian village. That would basically destroy it, but Kakarot, he basically flies up there and powers up to max power, and that's 9.5 million, and, well, Vegeta is basically doing the Pacific Rim dive, and, Kakarot, he knows that he can't basically just punch this thing back without giving a lot of power into his punch, so he charges up all of his ki in his hand, and the ki basically resembles a dragon. As Goku or Kakarot, he basically reels his hand back, saying Dragon Fist, as he releases a giant Dragon Fist, and the Orazu, oh my gosh bro, I butchered the name, but the Great Ape, well, basically dives straight into the big Dragon Fist, and Kakarot is getting, well, pushed back because the Great Ape is massive and is basically trying to crush, well, Goku, but his punch was able to somewhat knock it back into the sky a little bit, but he's running out of power very, very quickly. And Nail, seeing this, puts his hand on his head, and this is basically the special beam cannon, but I'm gonna say instead of Piccolo developing it, well, Nail develops it instead. So Nail charges up his special beam cannon, flies into the sky, and shoots it straight towards Vegeta's tail, and it cuts Vegeta's tail off, and Vegeta shrinks and shrinks until he's finally back into his normal form, and the Dragon Fist hits him head on straight in the gut, and it doesn't kill him, but it almost does, knocking him into basically outer space. And well, Kakarot, well, doesn't know what to do with the other Saiyans, and he just disposes of them, knocking them into space as well, using the Atomic Wave. And they were sent to different planets, each of them. Well, they almost died, all of them almost died. Well, they were still rolling out in space, and Raditz landed on Yardrat. Vegeta landed on, I don't know what I'm gonna say, but he landed on a random planet that was pretty close to Namek, and I'm just gonna call it, I don't know, it's just a random deserted planet, and there's basically almost no life force or life energy in it, and Nappa just lands on a random moon, basically, on a random moon, and I reckon Nappa's gonna die at this rate, so yeah. Goku protects Namek, and he saved all the Namekians in his village, and they were all healed. Goku got a bit of a Zenkai, a tiny Zenkai, increasing his power level to just about 9.7 million at max. Also increasing his base to about 770,000. That's basically his base power level. And, it continues on like this for a little while. And Goku decides to leave Namek, saying goodbye to all his fellow friends. And he wants to find this Earth they spoke of. But before he does that, he heard that Earth was destroyed. So he knows how to speak in the Mexican language because he's been here for multiple years. So he summons Purunga after collecting all the Dragon Balls, of course. Of course, he summons Purunga and wishes that Earth could not have been destroyed. I'm just gonna. How would the wish be called? Goku would be saying, "I wish that Earth was back to normal before King Piccolo destroyed it." And it works. Earth goes back to normal. All those people who died were brought back. And Goku also wishes that I don't know what he would wish for. I'd say just in case, Goku would wish for immortality. This is just way too OP combined with Zenkai's. He can wish for it to, be off and he wouldn't have it anymore. But this is just a trump card just in case, he runs into Frieza. And yeah, that's basically just his trump card just in case. And he also wishes that he can... No, I'm not gonna wish for something random. I'm just gonna say he wishes to be teleported to Earth with the space pod. So he basically carries the space pod with him just in case. And he says the wish, "Can I be teleported to Earth?" And he waves goodbye and he gets teleported to a random place on Earth. And this random place happened to be the lookout. And the lookout that he was at was basically King Piccolo's little hideout, and the lookout was pretty much destroyed. But he found a bottle on the ground that managed to survive, and he thought it was water, so he opened it, trying to drink water. But a Namekian came out, and Goku looked at the Namekian saying, "Another Namekian." And Kami looks at Goku saying, "Who are you?" And the Namekian, not the Namekian, but Goku, or Kakarot actually. Kakarot says, "I'm Kakarot, I'm a Saiyan. And who might you be?" And Kami says, "I'm Kami." And Kakarot says, "You mean that, Kami?" And Kami says, "You know who I am?" Kakarot replies with saying, "I was raised from Namek. So yeah." And Kakarot replies saying, "I wish that Earth would go back to normal, so I'd check this place out." And yeah, after they had a little bit of a conversation, Kami fixes the Dragon Balls, and he fixes the Dragon Balls basically, and Kakarot basically wishes, not Kakarot, but Kami wishes that the whole time machine, a time chamber basically, the lookout gets fixed. All the damage on Earth was already fixed, so he could basically have 2 more wishes, but he says that'll be all. And with that being said, the dragon vanishes and isn't completely inactive, but is inactive for just 1 month because they only used 1 wish. Kami did at least. So yeah, that's basically how it went. And Kakarot just traveled around Earth, meeting multiple people, and he ran into Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi was a survivor, and she was confused, and he basically went to a random city and sees a girl with black hair, and Goku, or actually Kakarot, was attracted to this girl. And when Chi-Chi looked straight towards Goku, having straight eye contact, she automatically felt a feeling in her heart I don't know, a random feeling. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Goku, or actually Kakarot, felt this too. And they were drawn together like a magnet. And, Kakarot, started the conversation saying, "Hey, hello, my name is Kakarot." And, you know, he isn't socially awkward, but he's used to seeing green people. So, well, he isn't too socially awkward, but still awkward at the same time. But Chi-Chi finds this funny, thinking that he's just, well, acting funny. And she likes that about Kakarot. And Kakarot, well, says or asks her name, and Chi-Chi replies with, "My name is Chi-Chi. Yours?" And Kakarot replies with Kakarot. You know, that basic stuff. They actually started dating once they started their relationship. And yeah, the Z Fighters would be aware of Kakarot, and they weren't too sure that they could trust him, but they let it slide for now. But I'll be leaving it off there. So that's where I'll be leaving it off, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace.